I've been to it one time before, I guess, and they keep raising the prices. I should have gone over to Panhandle, but anyway, uh, this one's sometimes during the week. There's not any people there, and they leave the door open, which I like that a lot. But the people that work there always stand in your way, um, playing on their phone or yapping. But anyway, uh, I needed to do, of course, one big load because it's cheaper that way. But man, the triple loader is $8, and the ones that say 4 loads is $6, and the triple loader is bigger than the other 4 loaders by far. And so I was forced to use the $8 one, and I counted out $8 in quarters. And let me tell you, it asked me for an extra quarter. I was not happy about that. That's some shady stuff. That means their counter's wrong. And of course, you got to put the quarters in slow because what happens is it won't register and it'll just take your money. So you have to be real careful with those big washers. But yeah, so um, I'm standing there waiting to make sure it has enough soap in it and stuff. And because you're going to watch it as it's turning and stuff and add a little more, because if you don't see suds, it's not going to get clean. And you don't want to put too much in it because it'll come out the sides of those washers. So, I was washing some comforters and stuff and blankets and that. But anyway, so I'm standing there watching it, and it shoots just a little bit of water in, kind of flips. Shoots a little bit more water in, kind of flips. And these are round washers. So they use less water, and they don't tear your clothes up, but there needs to be water in it to run. No sense in washing it if you can't have water. So obviously these people have cut the water back on them because it's like totally dry in there. I called the lady over and I said, I've been standing here for like 5 minutes and it's saying it's washing and there's like no water in it. And what was really weird is when after it put the water in, then about 2 minutes later, after it turns a few times, then it dumps the water out. And I'm like, what? And see, when you're using soap, it'll stain your clothes if it's not agitated with water. And then it ends up looking like bleach stains and stuff. So, for $8, the sucker should be washing my car. Not only doing my laundry, but washing my car. You know what I mean? So, I call her over there, and she says energy efficient like 15 times. They're energy efficient. They're energy efficient. I said it's the same washers that are at Panhandle Laundry, and they have water in them. I said, it needs to have water to wash. Oh, well, I can see in there the clothes are wet. And it's like, no, they're not. And she says, well, we'll shoot a little bit more in there in a minute. And it's like, and this is supposed to be like a 35-minute wash. And so then, it shoots a little bit more for a second. Like, maybe a quart. If that. And then it's turning and turning, and there's still no water in the machine. And so, I was really displeased when they try to be shady with you. And I'll never come back here again because it's not worth it. It's too expensive. It was way over the price of Panhandle. And they have some good washaterias. They have one out by Navarre that I like a lot. And they've got one in Fort Walton. But the one in Fort Walton, you've got to go super early in the morning before all the garbage gets there because it's a bad area. And there's like a real junky liquor store next door. And so, to avoid the danger, you want to go there super early in the morning. And there's only a few people there, and they have a supervised washateria too. But They're not as expensive. And he raised his prices a few months ago a little bit, but they're not as high as this. That's just insane. I mean, if you're going to pay that kind of money, you need to supply water, you know, with the wash. And the bad part about this place is they don't have quarter dryers. Their dryers are like $2.75 and $4 for like 22 minutes or something. And now the dryers are ultra hot. I use their giant dryer. It looks like something out of a casino. And it uh, it's huge, and you can add quarters to that after you put like $4 in it. And but and they're super hot. You put on the high setting, man, it's just torching hot, your clothes. But uh, it's so expensive. You know, it's like they want to get $10 out of every person who comes in here. So it's not very busy, and that's probably why. But if you come in the morning, sometimes I came one time in the afternoon and it wasn't too bad busy. But I don't like when people rip you off, man. That's just ridiculous. And see, the last time I come up here, the washers weren't working right. And a lady, they got her to redo the washer, put her in a different one and pay for it because it never added water. And the soap was just laying there, it was just rolling the clothes around with the soap in one of those big washers like that. So, but this lady doesn't care. She's like, it's energy efficient. It's energy efficient. It's like Memorex. You know, you're ripping me off. So, but yeah, so I had to at least do one big load. And I need to do so much more, but I'm not going to. And I wish I could have gone to my good Washateria because that one is so much more reasonable and the clothes get really clean. And they're really nice people. And they keep it pretty decent. But gas is a problem. Now gas is starting to go down a little bit. And every gas station is a different price in whatever city you're in. So, yeah. So, I don't know. I don't even like doing my clothes in public, Washateria. Too many germs. Last time I was here, there was hair all over the inside of the washer. Like somebody cut their hair, or the dog or something. And I had to clean all that out. And they had 3 ladies working here. On that day. They had 2 today and 1 just left. She's standing around playing on her phone because she said she had 16 more minutes left. My skin doesn't do well with soap. I have really bad sensitive skin. I hope to God that soap washes out of there. You know what's really funny? Is they have a laundry service here too, Fluff and Fold. And I used to do that years ago when I had one of my first kids, and it was kind of a handy thing. And then I'd tip the people and stuff, and bring my own soaps because we had to use special soap and all that. Ivory snowflakes, and it was really reasonable to do Fluff and Fold back then, but Here, it's like one comforter, $60. You know, you could buy a new comforter. Every time you get ready to wash one, you can just buy a new one instead of pay $60 to have it washed. The weather's great today. It's about 70 right now. It's like a real mild California day today. This place closes at 7. Their last wash is at 5:30. Well, that's a big stretch. Gotta go pay my internet bill for my office today. I'm actually like a day late. Oddly enough, it's still on, but I gotta go pay it. Lots to do, lots to do. I'd rather be sailing than doing this. My car's pretty organized, so I don't really have a lot to do there. This one, you can't use their bathroom either. I got it locked up. There's no water, so you can't rinse your hands off. So gas now is about $3.97. About the cheapest you can find it. Might be a little cheaper today. I don't know why they jacked it up like that so bad to force everybody to buy a bunch of gas. I think it's total fear of it going up morning and night, which it was doing. At least here it was. Check and see how close it is on that washer. We got 5 more minutes. Hey, what's going on? Going in with the Washateria. 5 more minutes on that load. Thank you for the thumbs up. I don't know if that's Roxanne or my buddy Wayne. Unless it's inspirational nomad before work. There's 2. There's 3. Thank you for the thumbs up. I appreciate you. I'm over here to rip off Washateria. Oh, pretty day though. No lots to do. I had my gold watch in my car because I needed to put a battery in it, and I haven't seen it lately. I have moved it into my office. How can you donate? You can be a member. You can uh, click on the $ button and donate that way, or you can go to my PayPal at showgirlltd@aol.com, where I get it direct. YouTube deducts about 1/4 of the donation, but it's up to you, whatever's easiest for you. Sure can use your help. We all need to open a Washateria so we can make big money like these people do. Man, I can't believe it. Yes, every penny helps. Really appreciate it. Cool. Appreciate you. Hope you're having a good day today. Well, then you just a Washateria by the beach so you can have a nice view. That would be iconic. So the weather's been pretty mild this week. Only had one cold night. Hopefully gas will start going down more and more every day. I don't know what kind of scam that was where everybody was jacking the gas up across the United States. I just know that it didn't make a lot of sense because the gas was different prices in every state. Which, yes, it normally is, but if there's like a worldwide scare or shortage, you'd think it'd all be about the same price. So what's everybody doing today? You got a big day today? You working today? I work every day. Got to. Playing the eBay game right now. Good morning, good morning. It's good to see you, my friend. Hope you're having a wonderful day. Did you get your surgery yet? Fantastic. So, what do they say? 3 weeks, 3 months? Or did you check on BB's Adventures? Because she had that surgery just recently. And she did both hands. I think she did one and then went back and did the other one. I hope it works out well for you, and I hope it's improved through the years. 3 weeks with physical therapy. So do you have to go to a place to do the therapy, or you just do that at home? Really? Amazing. Well, that should save you money since you don't have to go to a rehab center thing to do it. Because I know that they'll get you good when they send you that. My daughter had busted her arm when I was out of town working out of state and was staying with her dad. And uh, when I come to get her, her arm was like black and blue, and it wasn't looking right. And they said, "Oh no, it was just a sprain or something at school or something." And I'm like, "Yeah, but these school nurses and stuff, they're not doctors." And so I got really scared, and she was in a lot of pain, and it had already been like a week. And so I took her to the emergency room, and They were looking at me like I did something to her, and I'm like, no. Actually, what happened was she went on a trip. I'm guessing that they send me to physical therapy and then give you hands off to do stuff. Cool. They give you the gloves and all that. And so they said that her arm was like actually broken. And I told them the whole story, and I also went to go see a lawyer, and then the lawyer was kind of shady on the deal, like, well, I don't know, you know, it's a if then, and I'm like, how's it if then? Because they sent a notice asking for money to take her to a roller rink, and she didn't know how to roller skate. And I just said, no, that's probably not a good idea. So I did not sign the field trip slip, and I sent a note back. She is not going. And I didn't pay the money. And they ended up taking her anyway. And she broke her arm at the roller skate rink. And nobody did crap. And I was out of state and I just got back in. So he has only done both hands on severe trauma accidents where they are in the hospital for only a few times in 20 years. Wow. Yeah, baby, she and her guy were in 2 car accidents actually. And I think it was the first car accident. No, it was the second one. And she had just had her surgery. That was really bad. But it may have been something from the first car accident that got her. She was a nurse. What kind of soap was that in the picture? Foca! I think it's Foca. I use the Mexican soaps. No, this one's Roma. I like Foca better though. Foca's like dirt cheap. You can get it at Walmart and some little grocery stores. And it's a Latin soap. And it is really, really good. Yeah, this stuff really gets stuff clean. The only problem is this Washateria doesn't put any water in the darn washer. I'm just sick over it. $8 for a load of laundry. They should be out here washing my car for that kind of money. But yeah, so yeah, my daughter, she had to go. We had to go to this other place, one of those rehab center, whatever thing it is, to get a cast on her, and then they wanted money down because I had no insurance. They refused to put a cast on her, and I'm like, what the hell? Why didn't they do it at the hospital? And so that was really terrible. They wanted like $350 down just to start it. Anyway, managed to get. I think we went a couple days, and then I had the money and managed to get them to work on her. And they put a cast on her and for a little while, and then took that off. But it should have been fixed right away. It shouldn't have gone that long. I was scared they were going to have to re-break it because it looked bad. And she's never really wanted to roller skate since then. She had a scooter and a skateboard, but and I really wanted to teach her how to skate. She's had 2 pair of skates and never been able to be on them. But yeah. But that's good you got that surgery, man. I hope it works out. I really do. J.R. Watkins laundry detergent really is good soap. Really? I've never heard of it. I'll have to look at it and see. I'm going to run in here real quick and switch this stuff over to the dryer. And I will be right back. Yeah, I like Ivory Snowflakes really the best because my skin is so sensitive. But uh, I got kind of addicted to this Latin soap because I couldn't believe how well it washed up. I use it for washing the interior of my car and all kinds of stuff. It's really good washing soap, especially if you have something with grease and dirt in it. It really gets it clean. the good part is at least the dryer didn't rip me off for a quarter like the washer did. That was really bad. So got the stuff in the dryer. I'll go in there in a few minutes and take some stuff out. Hope everybody's having a good day so far. More watchers up here, which is cool. I gotta charge my phone while I'm doing this. Oh, lovely day in the neighborhood. All smoking in Macon, Florida said his engine building book wash thoroughly after the boiling hot water. Oh, wow. Amazing. Yeah, it's a... I'll tell you what, it is amazing. The prices of stuff from California to Florida. My brother really wants me to move back home. And the offer gets bigger as we go along. And, but man, the rents out there are so ridiculous, and so are storages. And my daughter's dad just moved back out there. So I thought that was really sad. But he gets all the benefits, so his benefits will be higher out there probably. But they have good medical out there too. There's some good medical here, but you have to go like down to Jack's. Jack's is nasty though. I don't like Jack's. Go to Jack's or Texas. They're really good. Yeah, my daughter's daddy just moved back to Sacramento. Out of the West Coast. Well, you know, I left a long time ago. I've been back several times, but it's just, you know, it's so ridiculous expensive out there. It's just hard to believe. But I don't know. Right now I'm trying to get everything sold to reduce on storages, and I can make a move. Texas, Idaho, Nevada, Arizona, Utah, too. Arizona is about half the price of California. Texas is about the price of California. And there's still some houses that are selling pretty high. I was watching a thing yesterday on the motorcycle builders that failed so badly. And man, I'm telling you, all the tourists have come here. It's really bad. But so there's like nothing for rent. And if you get anything for rent, it's like over $2,000 now since the pandemic. But yeah, the guy was trying to sell his house, which is like 35 acres and like 3 houses built on it. And he had it listed for like $4 million. And then got it down to, I think, $2 million. And I'm not sure if it's sold or not. Because he wanted to go to Florida. I think it's West Coast Choppers. Well, that is for this area. This area normally in the Fort Walton area is usually 600 to 800, and then if you want on the water, it's 1,000. And if you want on the water, overlooking the water, however you want to put it, but sitting on the water is usually 1,000. And his name's not Lane. It's it was the chopper company that made the spiderweb motorcycle, and they just severely failed. They got refinanced again to open again. No, not Jesse James. And I think Jesse James is doing more cars than he is motorcycles now. But yeah, and now if you can find anything for rent, it's like 2,200 and up. It's really, really high. And there's a lot of scammers on Facebook and stuff claiming they're brokers and stuff. Yeah, Jesse James is pretty good. I think it was West Coast Choppers. I can't remember what the name of it was. They were real big for a long time. They did a motorcycle with spiderweb stuff all over it. It's been shown several times. I'm not... I can't think of who Billy Lane is. There was quite a few of them, but there's a guy that got a... They had to auction a bunch of stuff off because the guy had to pay the IRS or some crap. And, I can't think of the darn name. And there's a guy on YouTube that bought one of the motorcycles. And, I think it was like a military blend motorcycle or something. And he took it out for a run and everything like that. And he said it's the most uncomfortable motorcycle he'd ever ridden. And, couldn't figure out how they were selling them. And they were trying to make like scooters with really high handlebars and all that stuff. And man, if you got to do a run for any amount of time, it would be really hard to hold on to that thing with those big handlebars and all that stuff. That would hurt your back after you went so many miles. You'd have to be doing poker runs all day long. Stop at this one, stop at that one, stop at this one. I can't believe how mild it is this morning. Well, it depends. My cousin Gino had some gorgeous Harley scooters, and he used to ride them all over the place. And he had a big long front end and little handlebars and stuff. And his biggest problem was it was keeping from laying him over. He'd go out drinking and he'd go get on his bike, and I watched him do it. And he'd lay it over right there in the parking lot before he even got going, because he's just too drunk. Do you? Yeah. He passed away, and they said that he just drank himself to death, basically. And all his bikes were in the front parlor of his house. He stopped riding them. He just had them in the house. So he just sit there and look at them. But he just always had some beautiful, beautiful Harleys. That's all he ever did was ride a Harley. But in California, you can do that. I mean, even in the rain is nothing. Even to the south, you find out what rain's like. The last trip, I went back home and had my daughter with me. It was really funny, but it's like, oh my gosh, it's rain. I'm like, this isn't rain. I said, this is like mist. I said, try moving to the south. I said, it's like turning the shower on, standing in it. That's rain. I used to drive my convertible in California with the top down in the rain, because you never felt the rain. Out of this. I'm gonna do my windows again. Oh my gosh. Put some stuff out of this dryer. Throw a couple of quarters in. Actually, I'm used to doing way more than this, but I don't. I just did some today. I'll be right back. this out so it can dry. Took my sleeping bag out so I can let it dry the rest of the way in the car. Because if I don't, it'll fry it. They do have really hot dryers here. This smaller dryer is actually really hot. But start taking pieces out as it dries so it can get totally dry. I got about 30 more minutes left on the dryer. And we'll see how fast it dries. Go back there in another few minutes and go get that big comforter out and see how we are at that point. Because with the heat today, I can leave the windows down in the car and dry a lot of that stuff. I can't believe how pretty it is today. Man. Great weather. Choppers Inc. Well, it's like reopened like 3 times, and I think he's totally retiring now. It was the dad. They did a sitcom show where they were all screaming at each other and all that kind of stuff. And it was real dramatic. But the first time it ended, oh yeah, is it? It might be the Tuttles. And the first time they closed was because the son felt like he was losing his relationship with his dad because they just never agreed on anything. And so he wanted to bail out. He was tired of it. And it was the one time his dad came and was like, okay, let's see your production bike. And they brought it up. It was in the storage, and they brought it up, and his dad's like looking at it, and his dad just really didn't agree with that bike at all. And they were trying to kind of problem solve the deal, and the son knew that his dad just hated the bike. And so the son just suddenly goes, well, I just feel like you're never happy with me. I was happier when we were together just building bikes in the garage at your house. And so, and I just had a little bitty shop. The shop that they had. And so they decided to call a truce and keep the family friendship versus the work relationship. And then I guess a few years later he went back to work with his dad to reopen. They got a financier or something to reopen, and that didn't go so well because the dad was out doing vacations on the money. And then the guy sued him and didn't win. And that was kind of the end of that. So I think they tried to reopen like 3 times. And then the other son, the redheaded son, I think he's the youngest one, the redheaded one with the glasses, he went off to open an art museum with all his own art. And that completely and totally failed. And so he went back to building bikes. That might be who it is, Orange County Choppers. And they were up north, and the father wanted to move to Florida. And so they were supposed to be opening a new thing, building bikes. I don't know if it survived or not. He's older now. He's not all buff anymore like he used to be. Really? Yeah, they got a kid that's suing them. That was a teenager that was in there designing bikes and stuff like that, and was on the TV show and stuff. And they said they would pay him, for reruns and pay him for each show he did. And the kid's suing them now because he wasn't paid for everything. And like, those people don't have any money. You know? Thank you for the thumbs up, you guys. Paul and Mikey, yeah, maybe, yeah. But, yeah, it's a shame, you know? I mean, they did some really, their bikes were like art, but everybody says they just weren't rideable. So if you look on that YouTube vlog that guy did, it's a big long YouTube vlog where he, you know, goes over how he bought it at auction and everything, and then, you know, describes all the parts on the bike and everything. And that was pretty impressive. But then when he took it for a ride, he said it was just a royal piece of caca. He just couldn't imagine riding it too far at all. But he thought he was getting a piece of history, you know, when he bought that. But the company had reopened like twice since then. I think he got it in the tax auction. So, because they had auctioned a whole bunch of stuff off, because some deal about taxes or something that they got in. Oh, really? Yeah, I think that's kind of more what, you know, the father intended on, you know, making showpieces for people, for millionaires that, you know, wanted, you know, interesting subject matter bike. I don't think he was into the designing of the comfort and all that. And I think the son was probably more interested in making a bike for more comfort than for show. I think that's where they had the problem. That's what I'm thinking. You know, I don't know. I could be wrong. But I think that's where they were clashing. Was one wanted to do the total show, and it had to have a certain look to get that way, and then the other one wanted to do it more for rideability. And if you're gonna spend that kind of money, man, you should be able to ride it comfortably. I think. You know, it's about the way they build Rolls Royce. You know, they're beautiful riding cars. They're really well built and everything. But God, they're so problematic, and they're really expensive. My aunt Eleanor had a Rolls, and actually a couple of them. Two of his boys and everything had a condition that was stupid. Yeah, right. And uh, uh, it just. I had a friend of mine in California, Cy and Ellie Parton. They owned a gas station in Van DeSoto in Canoga Park, and an old Texaco, and they were from Tennessee, and they were so funny, those people. And he would take Rolls Royces and gut them and put Ford engines in them. And I said, why are you taking an engine out there, putting a Ford in there? He's like, so to run. And they had their own personal 61 Silver Cloud in white that said Parton 1 on the license plate. And they used to drive it everywhere. People like dodging around looking for Dolly Parton to jump out of it. It was so funny. And this girl looked like Sonny and Cher, like Cher Bono. Yeah. Except with glasses. I don't think the OCC bike was anything special. You talking about the one with the spider webs on it? Or just all of their bikes? I'm going to go in there and pull that comforter out of there and pop it in here real quick. I'll be right back. So that was interesting. I went in there to get this big comforter out of there. And the lady told me, have a good day, ma'am. I'm leaving or something. Oh, my car needs a bath. This guy keeps painting near it and ruining my car. I had to buff it to get most of the stuff off. And he still keeps doing it. And he got a friend of mine's boat, which that was pretty bad. Not a good thing. Okay, let's see. The only reason LCC got anywhere was because they had a few employees who were extremely talented. Yeah, I mean, I used to love watching their show, except for all that fighting. It's just too much drama for me. But, you know, and I knew most of it was just for show anyway. They tell you to do all that stuff to make it watchable. It's sort of like Alaskan Bush people. There's another conversation. Turns out they were just absolute and total fakes. But, you know, thank you for the thumbs up, you guys. Appreciate it. But yeah, I used to love to watch Alaskan Bush people just because I thought it was interesting, but it kind of looked fake a lot of times, though. It was like, you know, the young girl used to wear a lot of makeup and stuff and then paint her nails and stuff, and it's like, why are you even bothering doing that if you're in the wilderness? That's some of the last things you ever want to do. To me, it looked like they were getting ready for a TV show. You know, the best one was the one where they were at a restaurant and they were supposed to meet a girl, and 2 or 3 of the brothers went, and they were sitting there waiting, and then one of the guys said, well, you should call her, and then they handed him a phone, and he goes, wow, how do you use this? Because he claimed he'd never used a telephone before, and he was like 16 years old. It was just like so far-fetched. It was totally far-fetched. But it turned out that was total fake in all kinds of ways. And they stole a bunch of money from the government, and stole land, and all kinds of weirdness. If you read about it, you would never believe all this stuff. Plus, they had a website. They also had a big giant RV. And they used to travel around the states in that big RV. And then there's something about that actually the girl he married is his sister or something. So I don't know. It's lots of drama. But real disappointing. And then when they were getting ready to put him in jail again, they decided to cancel the show or something, and then he died right after that. But they were making a ton of money on selling his book and stuff on the website. The website's probably still up. Yeah, it turned out it was just really, you know, for publicity only, just a, you know, sitcom type thing. It wasn't as real. There was a lot of people thought that was really, really real. And there was just a lot of stuff in there where you just go, no, you know, no. Especially when they built that big giant house on land they didn't own. That was hard to believe. I mean, how do you just do that, you know? And then they claimed that they were residents, so they got a bunch of financing, and they weren't actually residents because they were only there like 1 or 2 months out of the year, and you have to be there a lot of months out of the year to claim you're a resident and get that government money. So there was a lot of scammy stuff that went on, and him and the son ended up going to jail. And then they cut the son loose. The dad said, oh, I did it all. And they cut the son loose. And then they had the other one that was a drug addict real bad. But and then you wonder, well, how did they get drugs being out in the wilderness if they're like the only ones for miles out there? you know. And in the different trucks and stuff they had, they were like claiming people gave it to them and stuff. And then they bought this big old tugboat thing that was just hilarious. I remember people thinking that Bigfoot hunting show was real. They talked about that when I was a kid, Bigfoot and Sasquatch and all that. And I don't even know if that stuff is real. You know, I don't know. It's just like Loch Ness Monster. I mean, yeah, if you put a fish in a giant fish tank, it'll grow to accommodate the tank. That's just the way it is with sea life. But, you know, it's still talking about Loch Ness Monster. You never know if that's real or not, you know. So, I just don't know. They were trying to get Adventures with Purpose to do the show twice, and I think they got them to do it this time. And the some of the other guys were complaining about it. They were like, I don't want to do it because it's a bunch of lying. I know 3 logging companies here in Oregon have that strange experiences. Really. I've known a couple lumberjacks. Um, One guy that his dad owned the company, and he ended up going back to run it because his dad was getting real sick and stuff. And I'm like, I just can't visualize you as a lumberjack. And he's like, well, I am. And there may be a lot of money in that. It's kind of dangerous, though. But you'd be surprised how smart those guys really are. It takes a lot of smarts to start whacking on trees and stuff and do it successfully without getting hurt. It really does. No matter how you do it. But, yep. Well, I'm about halfway done with this load. Got 2 big pieces out. I gotta go in there and get my furry blanket out so it doesn't get fried in here. I'll go in there and get it now. It just gives more room. I'll be right back. Man, I gotta leave my windows again. Oh, goody goody. Almost all of it's done. Perfect. very nice. This one is not going to be totally dry, but I can't dry it all the way because I'm cooking. At least I can fry it this time. Dryers do get really hot. It's the only good thing about this place. Your stove will actually get dry. I don't think it's getting clean though. You know? I'm gonna put water in the garden wash. Ugh. I got those plastic louvers, the most expensive on the market. I wanted stainless steel, and they change shape all the time in the heat, and they make noise. I just got them because they're good for keeping the rain out of the car. If I have the windows down a little bit, but I regret it. It was quieter without them when you're driving and stuff. But yeah, so lovely day in the neighborhood. I can't believe how nice the weather is this morning. We're having areas at logs because let's call them strange occurrences that you cannot explain. People going to think you're crazy if you explain. Yeah. Well, a lot of people can't accept a lot of things. It depends, I think, a lot of their raising and their background. And it's just like with ghosts and stuff. I mean, you know, it's even in the Bible. I don't care what you say. But when you die, the body is merely a vessel. So that thing you burn or put underground is just a vessel. The spirit does live on. I'm a firm believer in that. So, you know, I had some people way back that were real country that were like, you're not a good Christian because I said it's written in your Bible. The body is merely a vessel, so go ahead. You know, contest your own Bible. If you're studying it and you believe in it, then you should believe in the writings. You know? Me, you know, I went to parochial school and stuff, but and I don't like to get in religion and politics or who cooks the best chicken. I remember a dozer with bent hydraulic cylinders and nobody could figure out how it was possible. Yeah. There's a lot of things that are very unexplainable in this lifetime. A lot of things. And as you get older, you start kind of letting stuff slide. You kind of go, well, you know, it's part of life. And you learn that everything's possible. Murphy's Law, you know. I appreciate you guys hanging out with me over here while I'm playing at the Washateria. But I'm almost done. Yay. It's starting to get a little warm now. Need to go to the beach. The way that machine was sabotaged, the insurance guy was like, how is this possible? Don't you like the insurance adjusters? Some of them are just super Jews and some of them are really great. But don't think that an insurance adjuster is an engineer either, because they're not. That was 4 years ago. Wow. Amazing. Oh, I could go for a dip in the ocean. It's starting to get a little warm here. Today it's going to be 78, 79. Right on. Good for you. It would probably be close to that here. Maybe 70s. 70s are better. It's been pretty decent. We haven't had too many more cold evenings. We had a cooler day one day this week, and it was like 45 for the day or something like that, and really windy, so it made it super cold. But it wasn't bad. It was not bad. Okay, let me go in there. See if I can pull some more stuff out. I turned the dryer down a hair because it will fry that stuff. People park in the no parking zone. Almost done. Okay. We've got a few pieces left. So, how lovely. Jacket's all fresh and clean. Oh, very nice. got a few pieces left. I got a couple of my towels, so I'm going to go ahead and let those dry a little bit longer. Just to make sure that they get really dry. Oh, man. A little hair on the subject here. Alright. Go for a cold beverage right around now. And I got all this change. I got to change this in. I didn't realize how much I had till yesterday. I don't think I have enough quarters to go wash the car bed. I need to wash the car bag. The guy keeps getting paint on it. Humidity here, I love it. I love the humidity here. That's what keeps your hair nice and your skin nice. That's the one thing about Florida. We're tropical. So, it's just wonderful. I love it. The dry heat is always what's been hard on me and created allergies and asthma and all the other crap. When I left California, I went to Oklahoma. And man, I thought I was going to die there. It was so bad. I had allergies and asthma and but once, you know, I knew if I got back to the water I'd do better, because every time I go back home to visit in California I could breathe great and didn't have to take all that asthma medicine and all that other crap. But now that I'm back to it, it's a lot better. There's still times that I have trouble breathing, but you know, I don't have any medicine for it, but things tick it off. Like I had pyrethrum poisoning just recently. That was really bad. Because they keep spraying the office building without telling me and the other tenants. Kenalog shot. Never heard of that. I know you can take Golden Seal, helps a lot with asthma and breathing problems. Really helps. I'm not a real doctor or drug person. I just, you know, I'm super big on vitamins. And I eat those like peanuts. Every day. And I stopped doing it for a couple weeks. I just didn't have time and didn't think about it. And I've just done it for years and years and years, since I was like 15, especially when I was pumping a lot of iron. You're used to it. But I really felt a difference when I stopped taking my vitamins for a couple of weeks. Oh yeah, well most all sprays have pyrethrum base in them. But, I mean, they have a severe cockroach problem in this one office. And they always have, and they're like spraying every damn day. As a matter of fact, I sprayed one time when I was in my office, and it come right through to my office and almost killed me. I was like rushing to try to get the window open because I couldn't even run to my office door fast enough. Oh, it was just absolutely horrible. It's just like being murdered. And I got entirely too sick. I ended up going to the emergency room. I got so ill. They were spraying like every single day, and had been doing that apparently. And I told him after I got out of the hospital, I didn't want to hurt the guy's feelings that works there, because he was the one doing it. You know, he's real sweet. I just told him, I said, look, if you're going to spray, please let me know before you're going to do it. And they should anyway. I mean, it's rental property. Yeah, not real smart. I mean, I walked in their office one time and freaking it was reeking of bug spray. And I said, man, you shouldn't even be in here breathing this. You know? Because you got to be out of it for like 4 or 5 hours. There's people that have killed people. There was a guy that sprayed his whole house, and him and his family went to sleep and they never woke up. You can't be in there when that's been sprayed. It has to be aired out 4 or 5 hours. I've gone to hotels with my daughter and rent the room, knowing that there was bugs in there, and went and brought my own uh, fogger and set that fogger off and then come back, in 30 minutes, whatever, and then open the windows and doors and just leave it like that, till nighttime. Um, because uh, that's the only way to be, totally sure that all the bugs are gone. But now there was one room I went to rent down here one time, and it took us an hour and a half to load in with all my commercial stock. And we ended up having to load it all back out. I sat on the bed, turned the TV on. My daughter was loading the rest of the stuff in. She's like a workhorse. She's just awesome. And I told her, I said, it smells funny in here. And I don't have really good sense of smell. I taste in my mouth. And then bugs were like crawling on me when I sat on the edge of that bed. Bromide and that stuff is lethal, yeah. And I went and talked to the people in the office, and they were kind of crappy about it. It took like 45 minutes to try to get them to refund me and all that other crap because it was not suitable. And I said, if you can come up with the room that's not been recently sprayed, obviously you sprayed Raid in there. That's what it smells like. And they're like, well, I don't know. And I said, look, I can't sleep in that room with that smell. And you shouldn't be renting the room out. And so finally they gave me my money back. That was a big nightmare. We had to load everything back up and go get a different hotel. And then I talked to a real nice high-end hotel next door, and the girl said, they're always spraying those rooms with Raid. She said they had the worst bug problem. I'm like, no way. It had a smell worse than bug spray smell. Ugh. There's one I used to rent down in Panama City during the events. I would come down and dress the entertainers. And it was really funny because they were from India. And so there were little tiny rooms and they were dirt cheap. It was like $25 a night. And it was like USA Hotel or something in Panama City, Florida. And sometimes I'd come down there and it smelled like that cooking, which is a strange smell. And it was like all through the hotel. And they should have sold plates, really. It might have been good food. It smelled like terrible. It smelled like dead cow. But I'm going to go get the rest of this laundry. We're done. Wow. Somebody here from, looks like an Oklahoma tag. That was hard to believe. So, I gotta wait for the mailman to move. Mailman's behind me. But, yeah, the bathroom was open. I couldn't believe it. And she gave the key to these Mexican people who were doing, obviously, hotel laundry because everything was white. And I couldn't believe that because they have signs all over it to no bathroom, this, that, and the other. But they couldn't, I love Liberace's Las Vegas house. The guy bought it and renovated the whole thing. But, it's a shame his restaurant museum folded, though. That's so pitiful. But and they filled the pool in and made a garage out of it. But the pool was the prettiest part of that whole joint. But yeah, I can't believe she let them use the bathroom, and the guy left it open. But I guess because they're doing the hotel laundry, they weren't doing like 50 loads like a lot of these people do. They were doing probably 20 loads. But they never let me use the bathroom there before. And then the lady that's paid to work there was all mad because somebody spilled a bunch of stuff on the floor or something. And they're bitching back and forth, and she's like, I'm not going to let her come in here anymore. It's like, man, you have nothing else better to do. That's what they pay you by the hour, to maintain the washateria. Take the trash out, mop the floors, do whatever. Accidents happen. You think the lady just did that on purpose? And I think what happened was she probably dropped her soap bottle or something over there. So big wow, accidents happen. Happens when you're a little kid, it happens when you're an adult, you know. People shouldn't hate you for that. Life is not that rough. She's paid by the hour. That means she's paid by the minute and paid by the second to work there. She has a mop and a bucket. She got a mop and she mops it. She's like, oh, I can't believe she didn't say anything about it. Well, maybe she was embarrassed. Maybe the place she was raised, she gets whipped, put in jail for it. Who knows? And it's like, who cares? Life is not that rough. There's people not working, man. Is your email on your website? No, not on my website. My website is a mess right now. I'm still paying $20 a month for it, but I can't modify it at all. And I've got to Xerox everything because a lot of stuff is stolen out of some other storages, and I've got to have record of all that. And then I have to put it on another frame because the builder that I use on my website is really, really old, and I really like it. We get along great, but they're not going to update anymore as of like a year ago. So it's just stuck in time. I can't modify it at all. And so until I pull one of my working printers out of the storage, I saw another one of those house before it got, I can't even see it. Then I'd have to, I just didn't want to lose my name. So that's why I didn't stop paying on it. But, because I own it. But as soon as I get one of my working printers out, because this other one that I got new in the auction storage is screwed up. I've got like 5 printers in storage. I just have to get one out, put ink in it. Then I'm gonna Xerox the whole site. And the bad part is you can't even move the stuff to another site. You used to be able to do that, where you could just ship everything. But it won't let you do that because of the framework that mine's built on. So I have to pick a different framework, see if I like it, and buy that, whatever, and start over and redo the whole website. I do have a PayPal. It's showgirlltd at AOL.com. There's not too many people at Dollar Tree. But catch a shower today. Wow, they've torn that whole gas station down over there. Tearing a lot of stuff down in the Fort Walton area. They tore down that old Alvin's that caught on fire a few months back down in Daston. somebody left the heat press on the side. I don't know if that's true or not, but that's what I was told. An employee left the heat press on. They finally tore this sucker down. God, it was falling down. It was so bad. And I don't know how many years it's been since that was open. And do you know they got to pull the old tanks out if it's a gas station? They're required by law to pull the old tanks out by EPA. Yep. I think that's that new Mercedes van right there. Yep, it sure is. That's nice. Have you guys seen the $1 million and $2 million RVs with cars inside them? Where you can haul your car? It's pretty well. People from Oklahoma. Well, here's somebody going to JCPenney and it's been closed for a year. She actually pulls on the door, like you can't see in the door. Because there's nothing in there. Just about every state to pull the tanks. Expensive. Yeah. I've lived in a house. My shop on the Florida state line had a gas tank still in it. And the people at church had told me that. And I'm like, what? And they're like, yeah, the tanks are still down there. They were supposed to pull them out by law. So. Well, the JCPenney girl missed JCPenney by about a year. Oh, it's so pretty today. And this breeze, man. You guys. Gotta love that Florida weather. Probably filled with gravel. Look, let me tell you what. That house had a grease trap. It didn't even have a septic tank. That was such a nightmare mess. You know, he was asked his home being so big, knowing. And I knew a lady that was trying to be a costume maker at one point. I used to see her in Little Rock and down at Hot Springs. Oh, I loved to run in Hot Springs. And she was mad because she bought some house and there was no sewage for it and no city water for it, and she was fighting the city trying to get water and sewage, and they refused. They said they didn't want anybody living out there, and that was a living nightmare. It's like, how do you buy a house that doesn't have functioning water and sewage? That's just retarded. Oh, bad. Yeah, you guys gotta go look at those vlogs. I think I saved one on my channel. The $1 million. They got one that's made by Mercedes and one that's made by another company. And it is unreal the way they are built. And they're just huge. They're being built in Europe. And the problem is that one of them doesn't have mirrors, and that's, you can't bring cars and stuff over here unless they have side mirrors. It's the law. How could you sell a house without those functions? Yeah, well, you know, people do shady stuff. You know, all this stuff in the South, it's not like California where you buy a house and you get a receipt. They have all these quick claims and all this other stuff that they do, and abstracting and all this weirdness. And title searches you gotta pay for and all that. But the problem is, that you know, it can be bypassing a lot of federal people and city people. I mean, when I bought my house in the South, I was everywhere. I was at a lawyer, real estate brokers. Um, I was in my 20s, and um, I went down to the city. I called the utility companies to see what the average utilities were on the property a month. I did all this stuff before I bought it. And uh, I went down to City Hall to look at a lot of the paperwork on it because I worked in abstracting for a short time for my Aunt Roseanne in Oklahoma. So I knew a little bit. And I researched some of the court docs and stuff because I was afraid I was going to get placed with liens on it and junk. And I knew somebody that did that, where they bought a house that her and her husband lived in for like 30 years, and all of a sudden it turned out there was huge liens on the property, like for $20,000, $30,000. And it's like, how do you buy a house and it has all that debt on it? And somebody didn't pay for an abstract or something. But the thing came up years later, and they were trying to figure out how to bail their house out and save their house. You know, because they couldn't afford it. But yeah, weird stuff happens, and then people offer people deals. And I mean, I was rented a house by a guy that didn't even own it, and I lived there like almost a year, I guess. Nice little place out by Northrop in California, and actually good neighborhood and stuff. And shoot, about 6 months later, this guy was calling, screaming, leaving messages on my answering machine that were just absolutely horrible. And I was working at a topless club in cocktail waitressing, and this guy's calling at my answering machine going, I didn't rent my house to no effing stripper and da 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 da. And it's like, whoa, here we go. Like, all money's green, you know? And back then, I mean, there was no such thing as private dances. If a guy touched you, they took him out back and beat his butt. I mean, it was very respectful. Um, you know, you did 3 to 5 songs on stage. The last one was topless, and you had to be 4 foot from the stage rails. So, I mean, it was very respectful, you know, for a go-go dance type job, I guess. But uh, and I paid my rent on time because the guy used to come to my work to come get it, and he'd write me a little receipt, you know, on a paper or whatever. As I always got receipts, and he was really nice. The guy used to come in to my work all the time, and it turned out it wasn't his house, and that was really bad. That was really, really, really bad. And I was paying $600 a month for a place I didn't even have a bed. I had a recliner and a TV. I had a recliner and a TV, and then I moved my grandmother in for a little while to save her from going to a nursing home. And that was real fun, and my dad brought some furniture over for her. But, yeah, like a dining table and bed and stuff. But, it was a big house. It was 2 or 3 bedrooms. It was a very nice house. Big, huge backyard. Big garage, but I couldn't use the garage. That was the deal with the houses. They had stuff stored in there, supposedly. And about midway through the term of the contract, they come to get what was in that garage, and I was dying to know, because they were so secretive about it and had big padlocks on it and everything. And it was a freaking, like a new Mercedes or something. I guess somebody was hiding it or something. And they finally took it out of there. And then I got to use the garage, and that was really nice to be able to have a garage. But, I mean, it was a nice house. I still had a driveway and all that stuff. Well, I didn't have a driveway. I had to park up front of the house. So, but yeah, that was weird. But I fixed that guy good. I left that answering machine there, left the curtains up, secretly moved out, left all the utilities on. And that answering machine kept taking messages. And I would go in there and rewind it. It kept taking messages. And it was one of those that had the reel-to-reel in it, you know, so it would take lots and lots of messages. And it was super funny because he thought that I was still living in it, so he ate it. But I was mad because he was putting me down for my work, and I made good, honest money. I was never ashamed of the money I made. Strictly an entertainer. I didn't do anything shady. I wasn't turning tricks or anything like that. Guys couldn't even touch you. You couldn't even sit down with them at a table. It was illegal. You could stand there with a cocktail tray when you got off stage, but and they couldn't put their arm around you or touch you or anything weird. It was totally respectful. In fact, the guy is still alive. His wife's dead, but the guy's still alive that owned that club, and he has an ice skating rink out in Harbor City in California. Yep. And his name is Erwin. He used to be Erwin and Renata from Germany. That was sad. Scott F. passed away. You know, his Razor Raymond. Hold on, messages. Many years. Costume making lady I haven't seen in years from California. Her name is Lorena. I never knew. Well, I knew one costume lady in California that used to make my costumes, and she was dying of cancer. Her name was Bobby, and her husband worked in petroleum technology for Chevron Oil. And they were real nice people. Like, she would come down to the club and bring you some things. She would only have a handful of stuff, and we'd all buy from her, you know. And then she could sew a little bit. I used to buy a lot of stuff, and then, you know, she and her husband would invite you over to the house and have lunch and swim in their pool or whatever. And then, you know, you buy, you know, a bunch of stuff from her while you were there. She also made other stuff. She crocheted stuff and that. But that kind of ended up being a crappy deal in the end. I had a couple outfits I had to give back to her. She made me this really great one-piece, full-back, white bathing suit with like 1 foot long, bright neon pink fringe on it. It was really cool. It was kind of like an asymmetrical type thing. And I didn't know you had to hand wash all the stuff, and threw it in the washer with my other clothes, and this thing come out like a bunch of knots. And I spent weeks trying to get it all apart. And so finally I just said, look, if you could just put new fringe on it, I would appreciate it. And she's like, yeah. I said, I'll pay you for it. And so she took it, and I kept asking her for the outfit, kept asking her. I was still buying outfits from her every time she come in or every time I go by the house. And they lived down at, I guess, down at Manhattan. Down around Manhattan Beach, I think it was. They had a real nice house. And so about 4 months later, this girl I worked with came in and had an outfit just like mine on. And I said, where'd you get the outfit? She said, Bobby. And I said, well, I've been waiting on my outfit for like 4 months. It looks just like that. And that I bought from her like a year ago. And so she turned around and gave it or sold it to this other girl. My outfit she was supposed to be working on. That pissed me off. And so then I started making little costume stuff because I could sew. I could definitely sew. I've got huge education in sewing. So I started making that stuff, and every time I needed money, if I needed electric bill or, you know, rent or something, I'd make a bunch of G-strings and gloves and put them in like a little Barbie overnight suitcase you go for a slumber party. And I would hit all the clubs, and everybody knew me in all the clubs because I used to drink in all of them. And when you work in one, you party at the others. So, you know, you never party in the club that you work. But, yeah, so I would take that thing around, go see the owner, the manager, say, hey, can I sell some costumes? And they're like, yeah. And I'd always tip the manager or the bartender. They never required house. And I'd go in there with a whole bunch of panties stuffed in that thing and gloves. And the panties were $3 and the gloves were like $7. And I could sell them out in one day hitting all the clubs and get free lunch, free drinks, and have a really great day all day long. Yep, but I knew how to make my money when I needed it in emergency. Yep, so I don't know. Yeah, I would have moved that Cadillac up a little bit more too, because this is the hittingest parking lot around. I come over here one time and like every car had a dent in it. I was like, dude, like all these people are dangerous drivers. Well, I'm gonna go get some stuff done. I appreciate you guys hanging out with me. It's been a slice of heaven. I was gonna vlog last night, but I was so totally exhausted. I had only like 2 or 3 hours the night before sleep. And I kept saying, I'll just sit and vlog for a minute. But I was just so purely exhausted. It was just hard to believe how tired I was. I mean, I could have stopped and took an hour Z, in my office. Nobody would know. But I didn't, and I should have. But I'm a lot better today. Still could use a ton more sleep, but I'm a lot better today, thank God, because I was really bad. Lately, I'm having trouble with my hands. I'm not feeling my hands a lot of the time, which is not a good thing. But other than that, oh, what a pretty day. We need to be down at the beach, you guys, and vlogging at the water, man. That's what we need to be doing. I'm so glad you guys hung out with me today. I'm glad your surgery came out good. And I appreciate you coming by, man. I appreciate all the thumbs up. You guys rock. And I just thought I would hang out with you and spend some time, since I haven't done a lot of vlogging lately, to hang out with you guys. Hey, you're welcome, man. I love you. You know that. But this is what this channel is for, showing the love. Hey, when it's so cold, feet and hands are frozen. Oh, man, dude, I don't miss shoveling snow or any of that kind of stuff, trust me. I miss that money. There was a lot of money back in the day when I had to work around all that and live in it, but that money's gone. So, and this pandemic's ruined my business. Absolutely ruined it. My business has never done well online. For the costume end of it, I've done very well online back when the e-cigs first come out, and I designed mine and everything. But as far as my business for the entertainment industry and all that, and casino wear and wait staff and all that, and security staff and wrestlers, it's just, there's no money in it online. I make my money in person dressing these people. That's the bad part. But, again, it's kind of like the old country, people like what they can see, touch, and feel, and they'll hand you money for it. It's really hard when you have to shop online. You can't see, touch, or feel it, you know what I mean? And you don't know if they're really going to ship. So, yeah, there's a lot of risk involved there when you order on the internet. But yeah, so anyway, I hope you guys have a super good day. I love you so much for hanging out with me. It made going to the Washateria fantastic. I need to do that every time I go to the Washateria and just hang out with you guys, because it's been a slice of heaven. So you guys have a really great day, and do something kind for a stranger, and I'll see you in the next one. I love you.